or call it the suspended CJ.
That's right.
Yeah. And the Neamana or Kaya maybe the motivation on her part, say, she could convince Ghanaians to come to her side to believe, say, the processes that has been activated are leading to the removal of a political witch hunt.
That's right.
And for that matter, the people of Ghana should come to her aid. Now, among turning against the government of the day, now why initiated the process, and in doing so, a man that kind of, if I say, moral boost to be a Ghana for a to omono a see a buying so. No matter say, oh dear, a witch hunting and that's for them. But that agenda, it seems it didn't fly. I'm fat.
Really?
And a blow on her face. Yes, Alaska, you can do a case research on the various media platforms.
Very well.
Look at the feedback from people from all levels. You could see clearly, so what she did yesterday, was rather a woman was subjecting herself for public mockery.
Public ridicule.
Yes, because you see, this Makacha said this is supposed to be a mature woman, not just a mature woman, because her age when you
a grandma.
You've been with the judiciary for quite a long while. There has been a number of high-profile decisions where you involve what give or ankoya mobi. There has been a number of decisions that what deity a man farmer a bikura namswako obi akono meduru obi papa. That's a high-profile case. What di ama man for machiromo. None of these individuals and I can't deem your ruling injustice. Press conference because Chief Makokota may dear Samatia Mintino may press conference against the Chief Justice or the judiciary. What to be that? And for Chief Justice, onim sa nema way na onim say a particular constitutional process has been activated against her, and the process is in motion. Alaska, for her to do what she did, I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed. Why was such a grown woman with all the experiences, will betray her innate wisdom and adopt baby's wisdom? Oh yes,
Ivan.
Alaska, she betrayed her innate wisdom as a judge and adopted baby's wisdom.
That
is exactly what she said, and I'll prove it right to you. Alaska, so her name na na. Me nim de na opese o achieve said must account or maybe to smear the president because and yes sir, there is no sense in it. And Alaska, I have listened to a lot of people doing commentary, but there are crucial aspects people are not touching. The woman, Madam Toko na suspended Chief Justice, or sealing the fate. No, abra press conference. Oh, she's done. She has demonstrated clearly, sir, she's not fit in terms of character-wise. Or no beer, or what the moral, your friend is saying, integrity, the honesty on her part, or you're devoid of all these basic characteristics here to Emma fit to be Chief Justice, or demonstrated clearly says she lacks all these things. Then now we'll be saying crime ban or fast or obey Chief Justice. Do we have a criteria be at her?
That's right.
Yamani proven woman for a judge to be a bit like a judge. A judge there may be knowledge into the law and a bit of credibility. But Alaska, we are talking about the administrative head of Ghana's judiciary. You need to provide extra layer of integrity and hope in terms of character. We are very rich. I'm for me to rely on you. One, Alaska, so call your constitution. I don't know if you have that. You can read clearly, say, constitution, say you send a petition the comma president. Petition cannot be made public. You can argue, say, because technology advances, people are doing their research and as well. Bits and pieces of it can fly in the media, but there is nobody who can say something about it. So the actors in question, you are banned by the constitution not to disclose any bit of the content of the way in public. The president hasn't done so, and the Chief Justice isn't supposed to do so. I.e. the other lawyers involved. But Alaska, the administrative head of Ghana's judiciary, the Chief Justice, atom petition, constitutional says should be heard in camera. Being heard in camera, it's not about the actors involved.
That's right.
The essence or the spirit behind it, you see, this is a sensitive, high-profile issues are very often, you know, the disclosure in the public, you know, can impugn the integrity of the judiciary. So very often the constitutional framers in their wisdom thought say, situation like this, you know, we need to do it in camera. I have listened to a lot of people making some arguments. It is fair, say, but this is not the time to be making such argument. Because man, don't forget, no Chief Justice for how many years?
From 2023.
And reasonable, you could have envisaged the possibility of such situation popping up. So, as one of the remedies, now bet me suggesting say, maybe I am a Chief Justice must carry through the Constitution. Who say this is problematic. So, my tenure as a Chief Justice, you know, I'm going to collaborate with the President just to ensure that we review this particular thing. You are an irresponsible leader, and that is what she demonstrated. The Constitution says this disclosure should not be made. Tam petition no kojina ya find say in press conference and no read the media content in the media. I know the day no. Sadia na oye no. Unconstitutional.
Okay.
And I say ya find say committee ya president ati. So move your moduma. No mo say Chief Justice Edibim. And the president and friend back, no man a juma. Anybody can petition the president on this particular disclosure where in the press conference just to make sure say we dismiss her. Because the Chief Justice are breaching a constitutional provision. I had that article now. Actually say you are not supposed to go public with this. And you see, sadly way I can sit here and comfortably tell you, say, leakage na enam space ma say petition no alikino based on what the woman did no you bet me gina so akase onim hu bi na petition no babontin because all that she has been doing is she want to push the entire petition to the public space say ya Ghana for be hu bi.
That's right.
Or the court ama Supreme Court bo assembly to we say enya wunti na constitution say yenye ade na public. But it is in the interest of the ordinary Ghanaian no wabontin then how they perceive the judiciary. It is not about you as a Chief Justice.
That's right.
So your wishes cannot override
the Constitution.
The Constitution and what it guarantees for the ordinary and the average Ghanaian. And yes, you might deem it unfair, say, I want it to go public. But there is an explicit constitutional provision on it. Me say you don't need any implicit interpretation to understand that provision. It is quite clear. So the processes must be heard in camera. So Alaska, say Chief Justice for petition, you know. Na all the Bejina public no ridiculous wabumra no mumra.
Wabumra.
And yet you associate between free hall.
That's right.
Good. Petition I cost no. Obi betimi atro petition book we ma like newspaper way. Petition kwa. Do you know the propensity I betimi my Chief Justice akọ abonten. So obi raise 2,000 charges against Chief Justice say yenyi na dia. Se ba ko pa yetimi prove a obekofie.
You prove back.
Yes,
that's right.
Say obi ka say mature petition that come president say only Chief Justice in free ho. Na what 2,000 allegations. If we are able to prove just one, enough for you to go home. And it's a would in the petition now. Or no comfortable zone, we have no petition or the abandon discuss it. No, but you need to discuss the entirety.
Because once I was
exactly, because we don't need one or two. We don't need all the petition to be proven right. Just one pet will be enough to send you packing. Alaska again. Chief Justice say. Your friend is saying, Kwanya President from Mahama Faso was signed a warrant of dismissal on Tiasia. Now, President Mahama Abu Muraso, and Mrana Dahoya say Yafaso no Yam Faso. Now, in the process leading to the establishment of the Premier Fasia, ye establishing merit and credence, the President Abu Muraso, and now, media for Tiasia. You look them in the face and tell them, say, this is an express constitutional provision by which you think that the actions of the president and the Chief Justice are infringing. The woman as a Chief Justice could not even mention a single infraction.
Even the article, our constitution,
yes, right. So she was advertising sheer emotions. Makacha said, this is a woman you could see, sir, she appeared a bit broken, emotionally fragile. and I adopt baby's wisdom and original man for him and advertise raw emotions and how lack of character and then how on deep candle a wonimu said the city here chira man for. Got some now can you know subjected to critical scrutiny. You could see clearly say sabi when you dear or your judge dear. But I dear funny reasoning, logic, common sense, ni nyansa, any some no can. Because you see, so we a judge now do a certain level, Alaska. You cannot be dabbling in conspiracy theories. And I will say, and as soon as you say, you are a lawyer, you speak law, you speak to fact. Yes, substantial, you put you can prove.
That's right.
But if a chief justice can be dabbling in conspiracy theories in the way I say, and I suspect to say in a way, then what will be the ordinary person? The ordinary person better. What are some American? So we achieve justice. So you don't dabble in conspiracy theory because the president says, and I wake up see a baby. You see issues now, bano. You want, and these are the legitimate constitutional issues. I can't want them. And I'll say, petitioners, mother by, you see a friend could be shining star. I'll call Registrar General Crown. You register Alaska. Let me say it quite clear. Or a chief justice, but maybe on reading constitution and tell us Alaska, offer your constitution, you know. Provision I cassette president ever remove chief justice it is written nowhere say obi is a group petition akoma president it should be a registered group
and I say you registrar general
again there is nowhere I cassette say obi petition akoma president I say if you would deem crown or the can all that the constitution mention is receiving a petition. But my catcher say yeah nipa per the details of principles of natural justice, the kiziwa you must know your accuser.
Okay.
That is why you're making it say okay, so we the petition, but we need to identify the person. Na who say nipa na mpa we nipa our petition free no hoeba na asem bi duru a yetime bisa no. But constitutionally, I want anybody to come and challenge this. There is nowhere I can say you must name yourself, but in implementing it, and putting human face on it, yentimi nkasa Alaska obi the petition bra ahoto force yempamo na yenhu nipa kro enya fair to you mebo you need to know who accused you.
That's right.
Is the reason why yakase the person must be known. Now Cecilia your friend say Charlotte say petition no more the pamo no besi ne people didn't know the petition.
I'm the faceless petition.
Besi ne what I say. So that is why you should know say point Nana Mamino making was irrelevant and her as a chief justice should have known better. Again, I say you didn't call Edu's Lodge. Now you acquire Sachini baby next time. Omunya kwa even the panties crop on Sachim. Because Alaska she has demonstrated bad faith. Because issues now you see a codino is not supposed to be public. Already you've gone to court seeking injunction say I didn't make no TV so the probability say you smuggle in gadget to go and record whatever happened there to come and play for whatever way is high.
Right.
So Obi Sachewa, you cannot fault that person who is searching you.
Wow.
What does that make?
That's right.
Because this is a woman fighting the court to say
Emra TV
so and a court to about wagu. So what is the assurance say ye jaiwa umfa o phone in as a phone call record the proceeding for Mabonting? Because and you have demonstrated that by doing a press conference talking about a petition. Into Obi Sachewa Ebony.
And are you restricting this?
Exactly.
Wow.
Again, I say Edu's Lodge I bring it bad memories. Nana what for deben that is absolute nonsense. That is rubbish.
Oh how?
Alaska. We are talking about somebody who be accused you. Yes, a committee investigating. You don't determine where you sit. Who cares about your uncle memory? Now, wouldn't my mom for uncle memory hand you? The very people called to jail you or go prison as for. Do you know how people are being handed there? Alaska, who cares about your emotional feelings? 2.3. About na me wafana. So she deliberately caved in the killing of the judges and link it to the present NDC government just to make people know say omo ba sa na omo tie na omo kun judges some time ago so enya me nwanwa say ne omo tuma say that was the impact of the message a coded word and all the share. Wow. Who cares about your feeling? It is not about your feeling. I expect that the Chief Justice will contest key issues non-discussing the merit. Ya beba Alaska afi o say why ya my ne ni nuanom judge for ne omote Supreme Court akonwa no so no obu omonimtia making look like say they are just some neamafun bi especially right. Justice Ponamai. Justice Ponamai was at the Supreme Court before this lady came in. Or you senior. Bibi na ye bibi ntia and abasene no ho. Ebe ye your friend say Chief Justice. Bafo Boni has been at the year for very long time. Over 2 nyina. Ba oba he no, you were treating them like rags because so he na no a ode ye we no omunipa.
Oh sir.
Oh yes.
Na no keke.
Oh na wu enra no say wadwo. Wu ni poster ne poster utimi say why utimi say boga ye mere. Because this is a typical arrogant woman who doesn't give a damn about anybody. She thinks that she's sitting on the moon or the sky. Obia should bow down. Who kind of us will address it, Justice Ponamai and other people.
That's right.
And the argument is Justice Ponamai and no Kwatina case involve Daniel Ofori. Now, really no more, you know. Justice Ponamai wrote to right dissenting view. The honorable ruling in favor of Daniel Ofori. In the case, ya besen ko. Enti eneno, enam say Justice Ponamai ruling for Justice Ofori paintino to her no, onya fit to sit as a chair of the committee. That is absolutely nonsense. Because Alaska, this is a Chief Justice and an administrative head. You should be able to vouch for the integrity of your core people. So are they telling us that Obi a judge, you know, dear Sama Alaska, and you will create a fraternal alliance with you to the sense that case be a media amount. Is that the kind of judiciary she was supervising? Say Obidia Samobia, then you build a family or some kind of a fraternal alliance with the person. Say subsequent issue be and you will be biased. So if the Chief Justice, man, no say and run no question soon who actually Ghana for say on fit for purpose. Because Alaska, if the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana cannot guarantee the integrity and the honesty and the fidelity of her own colleagues, oh no more panel no so. Do you expect here to trust any judge? Chief Justice or no say omobeye bias etiano. And she is scared of her own colleagues. And obi ono tie kurasi ananse ohini bia ote ebia nungwa bi ode na say sem eko Supreme Court no. You want that ohene no to have faith in the judiciary when Chief Justice Lankasa doesn't have faith. Does it make sense?
If you are what you can nipa mundi.
Alaska, my men san can say me afe osan sorrow ya say your friend is saying yes what 2 kwan na o 2 kwan no yes or the nikunu ne man koye na constitution na create allowance say o 2 kwan a or say order security eko na security no wasn't mentioned. They hear security nature say odo obi be kan ho na order na ko. Alaska, my catch say we Chief Justice o ne wo ho.
That's right.
When you are traveling out there in a private capacity, in a bra we are human state, you know, because don't forget Ghana so no yanso ya what your friend is saying security people are outside. So even in the shadow, just like the CIA have spies everywhere in Ghana, you see Obi. So you can be a Chief Justice, you'll be walking London. Nipa no mo nam ho mo kono be akwa no security di wachi. We have these things in place. But when you are going for your private tensor, they say go with the security because we don't stop here to be a Chief Justice. We are Ghana for Chief Justice in as much as we call private way, no.
That's right.
Even though it is private, bibi to what? I can't Ghana for because obi betimia akwache wodu akwache baby, and they will force you to divulge details. Secret be any say about thing. I don't know that you hurt the country. It's the reason why they said ooh to crime even in your private capacity for security can now when you can say security back one and to be but symbolically no a representative bibi now body bet me bibi and go with somebody on 2 separate occasions who could try plane ticket ma we oba on another occasion who could try plane ticket ma ukuno et tia pedium ne na se for the ma omo enya John Mahama na kwotro to ho se ye sa ade no aye bone nti obi metro petition the audit service of this country audited you and they wrote a report on it and they flagged that thing. So who will be blamed now? Go and blame the judicial service. And yet John Mahama na kasa why about it. The audit report is available. They wrote and concluded say Saturday na Chief Justice no ego and the money must be retrieved. One kasa bedi ho dance say sika no ya ma obi kodi ya sign the be buy.
Council sir.
And I sit down with your conscience and how this can be beba. So obi kasa yan throw petition nemrawa obone omaye ne same. And again Alaska Supreme Court na Chief Justice is supervise over no. Okay, Justice Gawo se hwan no.
Yaw.
Yes, amokofa na ba ya.
How is it Gawo?
Me da medi ni money ye.
Ya
fancy Gawo. Ya fan ya fancy. Sorry, I know ya fancy lawyer for the Speaker of Parliament raise papa we minim no. Ona no ye parliamentary candidate for MPP e wo ho central. So about say na such a high profile issue a political tentacles no our political way no would not better so Chief Justice am fana say so ho na nye politics no mo ye no ho mo constitution.
That's right.
So maybe say na say committee no mate a omo investigate Chief Justice no a political issue.
No, na
John Mahama papa te so bi ne ma mete so bi and I say don't get ate so chama say chama for example for kan ho bi.
That's right.
So what makes it political? Nipa no mugusu no obi wa political identity. Domlivo a politician. So there na man political way. O yonko judges too so. So I'm saying that the woman should just shut up and face the process. Either you quit because process no koso. Unyam free mo. So what is the point coming to the public to talk about the things that she said? And again, I'll say nsam no me we fit be akai me. I'll say amanfo send no your friend say threat messages no say on resigning na position no ye is untenable na for Alaska what has to see obi send a message say radio ya what is so from Monday going obetena so a ombeku ade na wo ye
we must go to the police.
So you as an ordinary person himself you threaten wa okọ police who how much boy Chief Justice entimin catch say enye baby's wisdom no adopt ya you will not disclose some of these things in public because you know what to do. You can only tell the media say a man for threatening me, my report to the police, and this is the update on it. If people are threatening you to resign from your position, and your media say, a criminal issue, and I will sympathize with you, go and report to the CID and any of the investigative bodies for them to take the issue up.
That's right.
So you don't come and add it up and make it look like Obina threatening. And again, I say, Kwanya President Mahama Faso will establish a premier fast no. Omo jampe anyway and I make catch say me too amount for say wunya to me yeah people should come down from the high horses na yama ya dwen enya adwuma Alaska matena ha ka kire a lot say your 1992 constitution no outlive usefulness. There are several portions of it and here any linkage to maybe I call in there we are say by. So it is important we look at those essential aspects na ye amend. Alaska ya tena krom ha me ka kire wo say ye ka say ye establish a premier facia in a case ya submit akwa president. The constitution you know any procedural arrangement be or there to say
that's right.
We move from A, we move to B, we move to C. Yes, people can speak to a judicial president, but judicial president is not binding on another judge.
Okay.
They can only take inspiration or maybe take a cue from it, but it doesn't bind them.
As a reference.
Yes, you can depart from the earlier ruling and set a new precedent. You understand? So, say Chief Justice say process na President Mahama Faso or the koyaya or the sign warrant man illegal. I'm saying illegal on what basis? Because constitution said the president will receive a petition, forward same to Council of State. Council of State will delve deeper into the issue and report back to the president. This known process justice there come former Lamte Alaska. The process obia circumventing know the process and it's a Chief Justice in himself. Sa process an error. A time as a Chief Justice, she could have caused that particular thing to be regularized in such a way, sir. In establishing a premier facie, we need to go through this procedural arrangement. And sana, yet Miaka say indeed there is credit, there is merit. She didn't do any of these things. Now what I didn't have a two bob one. Then you are telling people, say the president erred. I'm telling you, sir, the president never erred anywhere because they laid down procedures now over the years. That is what he did.
I see are politically motivated.
In what sense? In her twisted mind, that is what she thinks. Because at the end of the day, Alaska, I will send you the ruling. Supreme Court a ruling on her case,
Okay.
I've been posting episodes on it on Facebook. And I say, who read it? Your friends said the ruling now. It will be very interesting.
Wow.
The young judge for I can't say, the wishes now, I think say that is the law, no, that is not the law. On one, the young judges can't say, Nsabna Okikano, I am the personal wishes and emotions and feelings, and she cannot substitute that particular thing for the law.
Wow.
So the mere fact that we are judge and no doesn't mean say we wouldn't be our Alaska. That is why your panel.
That's what no mama no why you born into oma born na to her.
Alaska.
The question say wa na wo do ho aba. No, what I mean is that once we boom raso for years.
Yeah, for sure.
So afena yedim rano edi.
And what she was doing, as to whether it's lawful or not, it clearly means that to them, no, it was unlawful.
Exactly.
So it's now time for her to face what is the law.
Exactly.
And that is what they are doing.
Good.
So, and there be a catch say, when you to me now, baby, treat nipa well.
That's right.
Because accept to you need nipa never can be amount. The press conference, just try to whip public sentiment,
That's right.
Alaska, why na who say what year general all come on and the MPP no more bobo no more defend the chief justice and who more baby.
Because
the people defend you have no credibility. And then John Mahama, what's me and Emfa? Do you know why? The gentleman was president, was assaulted, was everything was done to him. He comes back to become president. This time there is a lot of goodwill on his side.
Exactly.
Things are going positively for him. And for you to turn the tide against him, you need to have a substantial tenor. And you know, so I bet him that convince Ghana for say, Papa, I did all ye in the pabon sem. And Ghana way, you should come to my aid. Wouldn't to meet in if you are Ghana for I'm sorry, you know, Tatama Mamvodino. Exactly. So, Sanat, so you see. Answer now ride against the tide, it means that you have something substantial. But to the average Ghanaian now, friend, Alaska, Ghana need that say birth certificate and your primary document and a passport.
That's right.
Average Ghanaian, Makola woman who say, "Sa really no Sabinyan Sabi," and it was coming from the Supreme Court, and you want them to respect you. And the obiti baby no say. We need to reset the judiciary. Ghana, will fall for that particular thing.
For sure.
Ghana, Nina, we see Ghana card never qualify for way, And or your foreigner, or then about your age. And a foreigner.
Alaska.
Yes, sir.
Ghana for Uncle Law School, the Ghana Uncle Law School, da Supreme Court the ruling ba. Now what Tanasaka said, this is absolute rubbish.
That's right.
Because from the Supreme Court or not even lower court. And that person ni dream ni say be making sure say yes sanitize the judiciary na a look better na a serve purpose. You think that Ghana will come to your aid when you have nothing sensible to say? Alaska, Ghana for are sick and tired of some of these tracks and some no can obetimi akai me bianca be me de unse dawson
ya be san kwa ba
enti some na all broso no makacho say it was a politically staged emotionally driven kind of attention shopping stunt and all yeah. But unfortunately for her, no, emfa. Come my catch say we nya public office tena. Now we have just say we munipa we 2 minutes bedim class sem asora tena nipa so aye ho sabi. Oso ageman ebi mada Alaska. Emre bi beduru obeye mobo. And that is exactly what she's going through.
Over two bread food.
Asam na all can say free say Ghana yes set your constitution chief justice bi anu ha yeah. Yes, subject to. Na Alaska,
there's always first in first.
Na Alaska, the mere fact say you obi dan doesn't mean you ntimi mfa nyawo. And some na mrantie no kano e wo nyina so. And some ba kon san kan say dan for issue na mo de ne call court no. Ye nyina ye judges ne akotena se ne edi asem. Nti aba ne say na judicial ruling no, they have this way about judicial immunity from ruling. And Argentina, some of our cotton so what dino, Obibetimi Gina Sassam no so, and the actual petition. Alaska, let me answer that particular thing. She's lying because yakasa judicial ruling and our judicial proceedings are terminate the very moment a ruling is read in court.
Okay.
On it your friends police in the issue no. The ruling was read and that ended the matter. The gentleman was about leaving the courtroom. And it's okay ruling over can't say after the proceedings no one will off record comment. So off record comments now cannot be captured to be part of a judicial ruling proceedings. I need to enjoy immunity. I don't know whether you get a point.
That's right.
Because proceeding no more ruling what buana for and I will can't man for say or you're incompetent. Now some no sort as a lawyer no he's supposed to know better. Yes, that cannot be part of a judicial process. I didn't you think you enjoy immunity. And Alaska, Chief Justice is a liar. Oh yes.
Oh, why are you calling
and I'm telling you, sir, or lack integrity, and she cannot be Chief Justice. Now, no, some now original son or cannot. The biggest of it all, they say, how can you ask me to come and appear before a committee and I don't know my charges?
That's right.
And the petitioner no reading no. Now Quran.
Because
I'm asking you, petitioner na or church you know, now Quran.
How did she get it?
Alaska, now Quran.
A petition.
Now, Diana, actual letter come out President Mahama, or man a copy or respond there, you know, and also a Bible. I say, Onim, at the entire committee, not tennis issue, na ye dino. Onim Hoshe, Ghana for Mumra. John Mahama say, yen to me.
Are you film version of Untumi?
Yeah, for sure.
You see,
For sure.
we saw a comic
It's not
version
difficult
of the
to see.
Chief Justice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, sir. That person or lack candor or lack integrity, and you can never trust her. Because beginning, I want actual letter come out president say on my copy. And at that time I told you, sir, president shouldn't have given her a copy.
Yes, sir, you
because
said it,
constitution, you know, and making allowance for that.
For that.
You wait till we set up a committee and sign. But now, woman no catch it, be say only copy of Nema Ekoso. And the Ghana force should come to her aid. I didn't say you didn't some not charges against her and only when in the past you are more a copy of the petition, you've responded to the petition, and you are even discussing the content of the petition against the law of the land. Today you are telling people say you don't know content of the petition. Can you trust that person?
No.
So you see, she's a politician.
Oh
yes.
I'm a politician.
Yes, and this whole process, she has been exercising a number of silly decisions. They are not in line with high-profile Chief Justice. Alaska, issue here, cause one kasa man for to din say we your son mama. Whether you admit or you don't, it means that politically, you know, there has been a certain profiling, a certain characterization that also. My cat is a politics, perception is everything.
Sure.
So in doing so and having this in mind, you know, so your lawyer, you don't go for immediate past offense, attorney general, or you're known to the party. You see, you have the right to go, but intellectually, a very weak discretion to exercise.
Exactly.
So, Ebasa, you only justify and send a man for a canon.
Affirm what?
Yes, the perception people have said, on your one echo.